the London system is probably the most played and known chess opening in the world. It is played at all levels because it is so solid, so easy to play, and yet it can be some of the most cutting edge positions and theory that you will ever learn. So let's do a deep dive, or a short dive rather, into the London system and how it works. So, the London looks like this. This is a position. How have I got you? Well, it's a d4 opening. And black can respond in various ways, and we'll cover all of them. So we're going to, for now, play d5. You can play two moves here. We're going to start with knight to f3, knight to f6, and bishop to f4. And what will happen, for example, is you can get this. e6, e3, bishop d6, bishop to g3, short castles, knight bd2, c5, c3, and this is the London system. Queen c7, and this is the London system for you. What the London system is you build your pyramid. You put your knight on f3 and d2. You can play bishop to d3, queen c2, and your bishop initially goes to f4, and when it gets challenged, you drop it back to g3. Reason being, when they capture, you can capture with the pawn and open up your rook for various attacks. And this is the main crux of the position. What are the general plans? Well, the general plan is that you'll put your knight here. You can support it with the f-pawn and then with your other knight, and you just play. That's the nice thing. It avoids any kind of traps unless you do something stupid. Black looks with the c-pawn to create pressure again. Obviously, they don't want you to go there, so knight to d7 is a move. In this particular variation, the light squared bishop hasn't come out. We'll talk about what happens when it does come out and what white's plan should be then. Because what is nice about London is it offers flexibility. And if black ever takes, you take back with the e-pawn. You create an imbalanced structure, and you can get your rook to e1 and create nice pressure. But I told you, the game doesn't have to go like this. After knight to f3, you don't have to play knight to f3 immediately. You can play bishop to f5. Bishop to f4, rather. And you get the same thing, knight to f6, e3, c5 in this way. c3, building the pyramid. Knight c6. In this move order, because black has played c5, they can play knight to c6. The light squared bishop is still open. Knight d2, bishop f5, knight gf3, and then queen b6. And now we can come up with various plans. When the bishop comes out here, what is a common idea is for the knight to go to h4 to target the bishop, particularly if you play here. The queen comes out to b6 because the bishop here on c8 and c1 have left. So it's also common for the queen to come out this way. And the queens will look at each other. And you can decide whether you should take or not. Often you'll play like a c4 here and invite a queen trade and double the pawns, and the knight can recapture. And this is the type of position that you can get. But again, the London, it's a setup-based opening, but the way that you set up is each unique and offers different flavors. It's like a pizza. The pizza is always the same. You're going to get a base, but you can put ham or prosciutto or salami or pepperoni or chicken or whatever you want. Pineapple, maybe. I'm in the camp that I don't think pineapple should be on pizza, but comment what you think down below. It's the same with the London. You're going to put your pawns here. You're probably going to put your knight here. The bishop will go here. But in some variations, you don't play c3, you play c4. Like here, d5, knight to f3, just for argument's sake, knight to f6, bishop to f4, and they can try and reverse London you. And then what you're able to do is you're able to play e3, e6, and you're able to play c4. And play this almost in like a Queen's Gambit style, where you've got the pawn now on c4, it's supported by this, and then the queen, as we said, can go to b3 to put pressure. And this is something else that you can get. But remember, black doesn't have to play d5. They can play knight to f6. Well, you'll do the same thing. don't push the pawn, it's unnecessary. You develop your knight. And then they might go here. Well, you just continue with your London plan. One move here is c5. Okay? e3. It's the same thing. If they take, you take. And you're happy. This is what the London is all about. So, let's just continue in this variation. In this particular way, like black can play differently. Bishop to e7, b6, and this one offers them more cagey. But you can still play c3, you're going to play knight d2, the bishop goes to d3, and you're going to play this in a London-style way. So what is that London-style way? Well, we come back to this position. You know, if your bishop ever gets challenged, it gets dropped away. Why do we do that? Well, because, again, a reminder, if takes, takes. And then we get the bishop to d3. It's the most active square. In king's pawn games, it goes on c4 because it gets on this diagonal. But in queen's pawn games, it's probably best on d3 because here it obviously dies. So you get this, and then queen c2, and all these different types of things. And this is the way that we can play. But again, a reminder, they can copy you. We've talked about this. They can copy you. Well, we play e3, and we get the queen's gambit style going. And what happens if they don't allow that? They play something else. You know, they play like here, c6. Okay. And what's also nice about this is we talked about pineapple and pizza earlier. There is a variation of the London where you can play bishop here. Let's play here. You can play this, the Jobaba London system, where the knight does not go to d2. In fact, it jumps in front of the c-pawn. And you might say, well, what's the idea of that? The idea is this. You get everything to team up on this, and it's a different way of playing. This is your pineapple on pizza chess opening. Hotly debated, because generally in queen's pawn positions, we say the knight does not belong in front of the c-pawn. If black were to do it, it would be horrible. So if black here, instead of developing the bishop, if they went here, oh boy, you're going to run into trouble because knight b5. And you're going to start running into trouble. So the idea is to give check, c3, bishop a5. This is the way to try and defend this, but you know, sometimes the bishop can't do that. You maybe haven't played e3, you've developed your bishop out. I hope this video has been instructive. Let me know if there's anything more you want to learn about the London. What's nice about it is you avoid all real theory, and you know where your pieces belong. You know where your pieces belong. And it goes like this. You know the bishop drops back. You know the knight goes to d2. And you just got to watch. Also, don't pre-move the London, please. Because the thing is, what you're going to do is black's going to go here, play an England gambit, and you might want to play the accelerated London. Please don't, because you're going to lose a bishop. That's my final piece of advice. Don't pre-move the London. Pay careful attention. We've spoken about different Londons, but if you're going to start with d4, have the London in your repertoire. Maybe after d5, maybe you investigate the London and you think, well, I don't like bishop to here because I don't like this, what this leads to in the way black sets up. Or maybe I want to keep my options open, and maybe I'm like a Catalan player, or you know, I'm a Queen's Gambit player, but I don't want to go straight into like the Queen's Gambit accepted. So maybe I want to play knight to f3, and then if they play like c6, well then I can play my London. If they don't go into what I want, you play your London system, and you know, knight to f6 here, and we've got a London. It's not quite called the London, you know, but you know, knight d2, bishop here, c3, castles maybe, c3, London. You know, this is what the London structure looks like. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it has been informative. The PGN or the moves will be in the description down below. And I hope you have a wonderful